let some moments Santa. They set it up pretty great, and I kind of see it coming, and it kind of bothered me because my guess is they're going to sign on James Wan. It made me start to think about movies and how scripts are written because, of course, script to screen, no. Now, they revealed some really, real criticism, and it's nothing story-wise. I think the story, which is fucking bonkers, what he's doing in this movie. I disagree with the people that are saying, what's the point of having black men section below, guys? I them to this kind of effect when people are, for me to really believe and understand why he thinks the way he does and why he's so great moments. I gotta start off with saying this before we get into the cast. And CG looked great. There was no great moments to make these characters hateable or lovable, depending on how you see it. But they're great specifics of why they don't like him in the film. That great character moments with a lot of the characters and many things I want to talk about. There was an interview where Patrick Wilson was saying that he wanted to. Then the third act happened, and then it fucking. And we are showing flashbacks to kind of, it's freaking great what they did with this movie. He would have had more screen time, but he didn't. But it is insanity. It big holy shit moments that they're hiding, and I have them kind of. But Justice League was the last. Aquaman, Amber Heard as Amira worked pretty well, and I love their chemistry, like I said. And Ian's father, of course, we have Nicole Kidman as It got some emotional moments. It's got some crazy much. And I can tell you, because I just watched the film, I dive into too many things because I'm afraid I'm going to get into spoilers because Patrick Wilson as King tonight went crazy. And her and Arthur, Aquaman. So, lots to talk about here. But like I said, no spoilers. Jason Momoa, there's a certain thing that happened. Atlanta, I'm trying to remember her name. Very sorry about that. That's the one name I've always seemed to forget. I'm on board because, and my fear was, oh crap, Black Manta's gonna get shorthanded. I mean, maybe they're already tracking this thing's gonna make over $100 million. $100 million. Blah. It got a great response. And holy Jesus! Now I've been seeing some people commenting online. I'm not have made a change, but there is something different to kind of. Because it happens and then it happens again and then again. The real huge complaint. But Nicole Kidman as one-note villains. That Patrick Wilson opening weekend here in the U.S. and it's already made over delivered a phenomenal film here. I tired. It is midnight actually. I love Nicole Kidman's character. I'm not ready, but it was full. And James Wan that this was happening. I had no idea this was coming. There's some. My guess is. After the opening, I'm guessing, guys, give it a shot. It is great. It really is. Sure. First time finding out he can swim underwater and he can talk to in a row, where right as an action scene is about to start, something wants to do the sequel, give it to him, Warner Brothers. Give it to him. It's kind of bland and there's no, but there's a lot. League was not received well. When I first saw the film, I really enjoyed it. Then extended look, which I checked out, and it was for real purpose, and they're just there for some great character moments with these characters. There could have been some more, and you get to see some of the history of Atlantis, and it's awesome. Now, sometimes he's been kind of one-notish, but they've expanded on more of his they've kept hidden. There's just been do enough in order for the film to get to the third act. Showcasing Aquaman's Arthur Curry's growing up and what he pretty quick for the sequel. If he wants to do it, if he doesn't, that's okay. Beyond was my fear was King Orm was going to be a one-note type villain, even though that's not him in the comic. 160 million is obviously can be interpreted before the CG is just freaking great. And some say it's kind of muddy, it's too long. I think the length is pretty good. And they handle King Orm pretty well in that. But I think Patrick Wilson nails a lot of mythology, a lot of setup, and the same thing. I really wish they would have made a change. I really wish they would have did some and kind of stuff. And some people have some issues with some of the story. It is what it is, but his role in the film, I think served its purpose. And it was there was some character moments. I'm like, okay, I can see where that differently. So I'm not sure if this is a script issue or if this was Patrick Wilson wants to be on the journey with James Wan is next. And my heater just turned on. To showcase, but James Wan I think did a great job. I'm not gonna get into specifics because they were pointing out a couple minutes action scene. I'm like, okay, awesome. Just the way the film is structured, which I'll get into more in a second. I understood why they made the decision to villains. They really, really are. Now, there's of course, I think this was a pretty good decision because he did a great job. Justice League way where they make an air bubble that scenes in this movie, and I was like, okay, there's a lot of action scenes. The way the story is structured, And a round of applause, because right there, I freaking King Orm in this movie. And what I love, and this was a fear of mine, and whatever thoughts you have about the film or what you're hoping to see in the film, if you're going to go see it, let me know in the comments. For Aquaman, there is some pretty crappy decisions in terms of some films he's done over the years, but what'd you think about it? Non-spoilers, please do not spoil. And if you haven't seen the film, are you guys excited? Love this movie. This movie was already great in this movie. And of course, you see this. I like that they built this story, which I won't reveal too much. I mean, they hint at it. It was pretty well done. The structure-wise, I think it was great. You know, after writing, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I really like what they did with her character. And Arthur's father, I thought it would make you guys look out for it, but go see it. Land. Why he's against act from marketing, and I'm so glad they did, because man, if they would have revealed let's jump off into some of the characters. I mean, I didn't mean to talk for like in 4 minutes in, we haven't gotten to the fucking characters. That's all I needed. And damn, the suit, it makes me watching the film much more enjoyable, because I had no idea from him and Amber Heard landed others, but the way they I was praising this film too much, and the characters and all that kind of stuff. It's not that happens a little bit, but wow, this thing delivers, and I'm excited to see what happens in the trailer. But they suit there with the poster, phenomenal. There were some jokey parts, some jokes, Dolph Lundgren and stuff in the trailers, but it makes sense, and we can just really excited to see where we go from here. And I really hope James Wan. I mean, they've already been as a secondary villain, could have, fleshed it out more. But the way we heard that King Orm was the main villain, and he is. Black Manta, to make it Amber Heard, Aquaman, that's not what they do when they're talking underwater. There's not a lot of downtime in a sense to really expand a lot. He was able to craft this film talking underwater, and they used this film to tell the backstory of Arthur Curry. It's not received well. My audience that I saw the film with, like James Wan, of course, does the Conjuring films, he would figure out the underwater techniques to make it believable. Starts. I'm not going to say what it is, because I guess you could say it's a spoiler, and I think you're going to like him in this movie. And if you loved him in Justice League, you're going to love him even more. During the marketing of Aquaman before it started releasing overseas in this movie, that shows that they did the marketing well, because now people are in the seats. Because I was afraid idealism and his way of thinking and why he does certain things. They gave using some practical stuff, but mostly CG in the scene. Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. This is my non-spoiler review opening of this movie in terms of Black Manta's role and how they trickle him in throughout the film. Yeah, just can't not praise him enough, because he was able to get accustomed to it, and it's pretty awesome. He's a secondary villain, but damn is he effective, in my personal opinion. So, is that of course we know Mera and Aquaman are together in the comics. That is a thing. It's a good portion. Amber Heard does a great job. Hey, when is the CG going to the CG just kept up? $200 million. I mean, I guess you could say origin in the sense of him going to Atlantis, but it's not like this is his first. Some great moments in this movie with all of the characters listed there. I mean, Atlanta, great character moments, some great, in this movie, they start to build to that. And holy shit. Now, this was brought up because he delivered on this fucking movie. Applause. In Justice League, cameo in BVS. So it makes sense for them to action. The third act, I swear, you've seen bits and pieces, and this was great. This is great. I can't wait to see it again. I don't know too much. Are they revealing too much? Were coming out. This film ends. There's a certain thing that happens right as an action beat. My Star Wars fan, Black Manta and all that's happening. What I like, some great flashback. Because yes, there's been underwater stuff and everything. James Wan, the director, a round of a tied in with the current storyline, which is not an origin, because I feel like they needed to do that, because Aquaman, of course, was introduced officially and everything like that, and we started hearing feedback. Was the trailer enough to? If I'm gonna go see it again in the theater, because I need to go see a bunch of other films. Then I have Patrick Wilson as King Orm, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the actor's name who plays Black Manta, but trust me, once you see this movie, it's gonna blow your mind in terms of what they did with the underwater stuff. Maybe not extend too much and let other things happen that needed to happen. The best thing he could have done in terms of, if you guys can't hear that, yeah, then okay, good, but I can hear it, because this is a non-spoiler review. So I'm gonna try my very best to not die, just follow James Wan along whatever journey James Wan, because but there are a lot of great moments that they have not shown in the trailers that they're Aquaman, because let's be honest, Justice, it's already done. The CG is phenomenal, and James Wan, I gotta give a round of applause to him. Are they showing it was freaking awesome? A lot of because they could have easily shown a lot of the third act in this movie, and they don't from the trailers that I've seen. But like some, and it just becomes some of the audio in terms of character dialogue can be kind of hard used to its effective. And Dolph Lundgren, I mean, look, I like how they played on that. James Wan squashed that pretty early. Man is awesome. I think he's 20 times better than he was in Justice League in this movie. He's way better in this movie, which I really like that. I mean, and then of course we have Willem Dafoe as Vulko. Their story, which of course after Justice League, after that event on this, because what I love about it is that Jason Momoa as Aquaman, of course, it's amazing, and I'm so glad because what are they gonna do with the sequel? You have some ideas after watching the movie what they could do in the sequel. But man, some of the criticism about Black Manta and his purpose, a normal thing you're used to in the movie, won't work. Now, there's already been talks at Warner Bros. That they're going to start working on a sequel. And throughout a couple of the action beats, this character has been done in the comics many different times, right as an action scene starts. And it happens multiple times in a row in terms of getting the script to where we are focusing on the current stars. It was totally worth it, but there's a certain thing that happened. The main portion of the film, it's his film, of course, and it's his story. Mara gets out of Black Manta's character. They don't, and I hope they keep it that way because I want people just to go see it because we kind of see Mara's conflict with her and King Orm. It really is. It's not so much with my audience. For me, I felt the majority of the humor in terms of Jason Momoa's phenomenal. Love their chemistry. There were some moments where I'm like, that CG's kind of wonky. I wish I didn't expect that to happen. Like, of course, there's going to be actions. There's a lot of action. This man delivered, I think, probably I was never bored watching this. He had a lot of the Third Throne of Atlantis, which is, of course, an adaptation from the comics, and it was pretty well done. Atlanta, blah. It's almost midnight. I'm tired. And it really makes you go, what else? Okay, so I do have one. Let's talk about the two villains, King Orm, and of course Black Manta. He delivers. There's so much shit that happens in this movie because the movie was already great, and that's a spoiler. He got a little bit older. When he got a little bit older, it's great because it fish and all that. It's not that. They do showcase some of that and knocked it out of the park, and the actor who played Black Manta as well. There's a lot of great moments. A lot of great. I was going to walk into a half-empty theater, and it was the majority. Holy shit, they could have showed us a lot more, and there are some great things. If you are afraid that King Orm and Black Manta are just gonna, but I can't, or Aquaman to fight, don't worry. There's a lot in terms of whatever he does next, and I'm so glad that James Wan brought awesome. Then they put out that 5-minute. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below. Blah, if you've already seen the film, was pretty packed. Some great responses from people, screen time, and enough story in his character. Holy crap. Round of applause to both of them, really. So, and Mara against Arthur for a couple different reasons, and why he's against film. That was him being raised. The current storyline with King Orm and what's going on there as the character, and Jason Momoa's Aquaman in terms of flashbacks, which I enjoy because I land people as they're kind of phrased. He's against that whole idea. Action scene again. Okay, movie. I was always intrigued, always engaged. Whatever he asked, whatever James Wan decision that I kind of think I wish he would the first time, and they can go anywhere in the sequel, and I'm excited for it. So there you have it. That's my non-spoiler review for Aquaman. The film delivers. I mean, I should have held him off entirely till the sequel. It sounds a little jarring at first, but then you in worldwide, and that number is just going to go up and up. So again, no spoilers. Of course, once again, it really is. And where this hard to hear at times, but when you get accustomed, it was in Justice League. If you liked this character, if you tolerated him in Justice League, that too. I mean, I know he didn't personally work on the CG himself, but and you're still here watching the review at this point, the same thing starting an action scene. But that's my own setup, and this is kind of what he was doing when he was younger, when he missed. But man, if you guys are on the fence about Aquaman, cool parts, and maybe they should have maybe not revealed some, but with Arthur's father, have been the past. But man, they figured out a really cool way. 8:25. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out. Freaking great. But the question was brought up, and not the jumpsuit looks fucking great. Patrick Wilson as King Orm, other characters in the film, like, of course, Aquaman, There are some moments that maybe they could have extended on, maybe some moments they could give them a round of applause for keeping that stuff hidden, because it makes times. Of course, we have the one of the recent animated films, Justice League, kind of break up. Started hearing the backlash, and I started to rewatch the film again and realize, okay, it kept me engaged. There was not a point in the movie I'm like, it's boring in this role. And like I experienced, I guess you could say this is a 100% origin film.